Welcome back, everyone, to the Catherine commentary. And wait, are we actually starting the nightmare stage at the beginning of the part? I think the
I hope
ominous music.
so.
Yes, Dark Hour Go.
We spent half of the video sitting on our ass looking at text messages. Alright, so obviously, from Vince's perspective, he appears human. He's got boxers on. It's not with the pillow. Why the horns, though? Why
Oh,
does he have
the horns
horns?
indicate that he is a sheep, just like everyone else. They're the same horns all the sheep have. All of the other sheep see him as a sheep with an afro.
So why do we see him as a human with horns?
Main character.
No, because everyone in the dream sees themselves as a human. When you talk to these people, they'll say everyone's a sheep but me, or they'll act amazed when they hear that all the other sheep are actually humans, and that's a thing during the first couple rest areas. So it's part of the supernatural aspect of the dream. Everyone is supposed to see everyone else as a sheep, but they see themselves
you
as
see,
human.
it's symbolic because
It's-
we all
it's-
think we're unique, but we're not because we're all sheep. Because Atlas is so clever and subtle.
Yeah, it's not. It's Atlas symbolism. Yeah, it hits you in the head with it, but I still think it's okay.
At the very least, I do prefer symbolism, even if it's ham-handed as fuck, which is par for the course with Atlas stuff. I at least prefer symbolism that I can figure out, as opposed to the curtains were green, which symbolizes his love of nature, which is why he doesn't get along with his mom. And English class bullshit, I'll take this over
yes.
that any day of the week.
Okay, now we have the confessional. You can do two things. You can talk at the window here to annoy the fuck out of Astaroth before you sit down, or you can sit down and have your morality questions thrown at you. These are actually, except for the first question here and the questions during the final stage, they're randomly chosen. And when you're online, your first answer to every individual question is uploaded to a survey server that gauges how many of the players, like, on average, picked that as their first answer. There are many more questions than we're going to see in this one playthrough, so it's one little new thing to do during your additional different morality runs of the game. I would actually, like, in a first playthrough, I'd recommend answering these honestly.
Boxers or briefs?
Now, I'm not going to be melodramatic, so I picked It Begins.
Yeah, do the choices get really mundane, like salad or soup?
Sometimes they are. Sometimes they're really out there questions. Sometimes they're obscene as fuck. Sometimes they're just really boring questions that you wouldn't think have a morality connotation, but somehow they do.
Paper or plastic?
What is your quest?
It's like, would you do a robot? Stuff like that, or...
Is it a Lucy Lubot?
And then the chaos answer for that one is actually kind of hilarious. Is it fully functional? Yes.
Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention. If you're crushed by a falling block, you're dead.
You don't say!
You can't speak out in ellipses.
Dot.
What he actually did there was he made a little quiet grunt sound, but
Yeah.
there's no real word for that.
Oh,
So it's just
Japan's bigger on using ellipses over there, because they don't have they can put as many dots on the end of something as they want, and it'll just mean whatever.
Ellipses is one of the very few things between Japanese writing and English writing that's still the same.
Welcome to Blocks 101. I'm
now
your
for
professor,
Greek
Mr.
calculus.
Sheep.
Now, I basically like the I like the design for the first boss because it's probably the only vaguely subtle boss design where you actually have to think about what it signifies in Vincent's brain. But it's a pair of hands with a fork. He's basically...
Wait, hold on. Rocket Confessional? That would make church way more
Fuck
badass.
yeah!
Rocket Confessional, yeah. The design for this boss is two hands with a fork, and Vincent thinks it's Catherine. But why is this one... But why does he think it's Catherine? It's because of the fork. When Catherine is really, really angry in the coffee shop, she stabs her cake like she's trying... Then you
So he's
just get
standing there
blindsided.
laughing, the boss just comes up and stabs him with the
Stabs
fork.
you with a damn fork.
Yeah, more or less. It's that point at which Cloud Strife twirls his sword around, and if things were being realistic, someone would shoot him in the head while he was doing that. And the boss always just magically appears next to you during the cutscene, no matter how far ahead you get of it. You get from
Yeah,
it.
because you're standing around like a dumbass doing a little battle cries.
Yeah.
I'm safe, right?
The door always obliterates the bosses. Alright, that is the second stage completed. The next part is going to be entirely cutscene and bar scene, so let's see us
Wonderful.
bullshit our way through that.
Bullshit our way through that. We still have 5 minutes to bullshit through this.
Oh, right, that's right, the waking up cutscene and the morning cutscene. The cutscenes get Metal Gear Solid tier long at times, especially toward the end.
I figured there was a reason why some of these parts are pretty long.
Yeah, I tried to keep it to roughly one bar scene and one stage per part after this, but some of the stages get really long, so I had to break those up toward the
Yeah,
end.
you consider this a prologue to a Metal Gear Solid commentary.
It's a lot more anime and a lot less out there, though. Holy shit, how did you get here? And for the record, no, Vincent never actually remembers the point at which the points at which he slept with Catherine, because spoilers, he never actually did.
You know, if I woke up with a hot chick next to me in bed, I'd be a little bit less freaked out and a little bit more grateful, I guess.
Surprising.
Well, he already has a hot chick, so he's more freaked out by the fact that the other hot chick is probably going to try to murder him at some point.
Was his
Is there a
drink
threesome ending?
No, there's no threesome ending.
Oh.
There's endings where you get Catherine, there's endings where you get to see Catherine, which is this one, because you can see everything here. You see what I did there? That's a pun on letters and the word see. Huh? Is this thing on? No.
Shut up, Lewis.
Just me? Okay. There are endings where you try to get back with each of them and they reject you. And then there are the two neutral endings. One where you have the neutral ending and win at a gamble, so you get to go to space. And one where you have the same neutral ending, except you lose the gamble and Vincent has no fucks to give, so there isn't actually an after the credits scene. I'm getting true neutral, so we're going to see Vincent go to space.
Space.
But basically, what determines whether or not you get the ending you want isn't whether you're right or wrong. It's how decisive you are. If you're decisively neutral, you can get the neutral ending, the true neutral. If you're decisively into law and marriage, you'll get the true Catherine ending. If you're a little iffy on what you want, you'll get a slightly worse ending or an outright bad one if you just suck at life. It's possible to get the good lovers and cheater endings from either end of the morality meter, I think, but you can only get the true ending if you're in the correct moral alignment.
Holy shit, worst cigarettes ever.
I think that's meant to either signify that, I don't know, Vincent has a raging boner right now, or to signify that the kiss went on for way too long.
Or maybe just a really fucking bad cigarette.
Now, remember this dentist appointment line, because that's actually plot important later on. You wouldn't think so, but it is.
Well, it just sounds like that I have a dentist appointment, like one of the shallowest, I don't want to be here right now excuses that I can think of off the top of my head. I had like
Wow.
6 dentist appointments last week when I didn't want to talk to people.
Yeah. Well, she
But
actually is going to meet a dentist, but that's all I'm going to say now.
On the plus side, I have really good teeth, so that's nice.
For seducing people.
Alright, it's time for Catherine again, part 3, where we meet Fedora for the first time. Also, this is totally not an American
You
restaurant.
know what? It just hit me.
Yeah,
I
come on,
think-
isn't this how we
You know
pick
what
our
they say,
french
every
fries
guy
and
has
burgers
3
at
hot streaks with the
McDonald's?
ladies in his life.
You know what?
This
I think you would have to be in very specific places to find sushi bars like this in America. Or
Isn't there
in
a
the UK.
pizza place named Chi-Chi's that does this? Or
I
is it
don't know.
CC's?
CC's.
CC's, I think it's CC's.
CC's is sort of like it.
So what
not
was the
quite.
point of making this cutscene like 30 seconds long animated? Why not just have the entire thing be in-game?
I think it might have been a trailer shot. I don't know. But anyway, this guy is pretty much the very kind of douchebag that the fedora indicates, as we're going to find out during this conversation. He doesn't care that you're cheating. He's like, if you're going to do it, don't get caught. If you were going to do it, don't whine about it. He just sort of treats it like normal.
You got a perpetual sad face going on there.
Yeah,
Is he
he's a
called
he,
is he called Fedora just because he's wearing a fedora?
Well, that's
I-
what we're referring to him
he,
as.
he has a name. I just don't call him by that name.
It's
Wait,
such a shame. It's such a shame that the fedora has become such a douchebaggy sort of thing. Because I actually think that they look kind of cool, especially in like old, like noir 40s.
Yeah,
and
I
50s
think it's the
pieces.
single color, like if whether it's black, gray, or brown, the original fedoras. I think that's actually pretty cool. If you're wearing multi-stripe patterns, you're trying to say something.
Yeah, I love the pattern on this guy's hat. It's so try hard.
I just expect him to pull out his iPad and start taking pictures with it or something.
A selfie, which he then uploads to Tumblr as one of those atheist euphoria pictures. But anyway, this guy is a divorcee, not because he was a douchebag to his wife exactly, but because she divorced him when his business failed.
So is she a gold digger?
No, there's something more complicated going on, but he puts it forward as her betraying him.
Well, nothing can ever be your fault, Lewis.
His subplot doesn't actually resolve unless you get the true lovers ending, though. He does get back to his wife in that ending. I'm not getting that ending, so we're never going to see that happen. Spoiler alert.
So basically, you just doomed this guy to live alone and unloved for the rest of his life. Good job, Lewis.
Actually,
job.
you never find out what happened to him outside of that ending.
Well, I'm going to assume that he got ran over by a bus.
Yeah, the true lovers ending. The true lovers ending has a wedding scene at the end.
Did I hear someone call for me?
Ronald McDonald.
What has gone on? My boner is confused.
Well, it might become a little bit more confused when you find out her backstory.
Is she really Ronald McDonald?
No. She's
Okay.
not really Ronald McDonald.
Stiffy away!
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, my internet failed for a bit there.
What's your
There's
opinion
those
on...
Skype fuck-ups we know.
We know.
Yeah,
Love.
there you go. It was 3 parts in. I'm not really surprised. But Lewis, what's your opinion on Miss Ronald McDonald?
Oh, her. Well, I know what's really going on with her, and I think she could have been handled a little more gracefully, but spoilers, she's actually a post-op. So, yeah.
Ooh.
Wait,
Yes.
is she Ronald McDonald?
No,
I'm
she's not.
fucking serious.
But her original name was Eric, yes. So, she could have been handled a bit more gracefully, but it's sort of treated like a background running joke that you only get the punchline to if you get the true lovers ending.
You just added A to Eric and you get Erica, and there you go, bam. Instant
Is it-
female.
The hints are supposed to be the awkwardness the other characters who knew her when she was a kid approach it when Blondie there has his little tryst with her, and her last name, Anderson, which I think means something along the lines of, like, manly or something or other.
That's probably something that got across better in Japanese than it
Probably.
does. Name puns in general, I think, tend to work generally tend to work better in
that's
Japanese.
because we in the West are lazy and we never look up what names mean. That
Well,
and our
and-
names
well,
are
let's just-
generally made of words out of our language, unless they're like baker or something.
Well, that's because a lot of Western names don't have that sort of meaning. Like Smith. Oh well, I guess it goes back to like blacksmith way back, but you know, somebody named Smith isn't a blacksmith, you know. So when they do
Yeah.
try to translate the names into puns, you get stuff like Ace Attorney, where you get Will Powers and Jackhammer and shit like that.
Max Powers?
And
Jesus Christ, this world we got it tough in the video game world. You know, every 100 years you got men dying, no explanation. Dracula rises from the grave.
Well, every 1,000 years you got to deal with that 1,000-year door bullshit. You know.
Then
You gotta
when
go
the
through the-
planets align and shit.
if all the video games that use these kind of plots took place in the same universe, what you'd either have is A, a million planet-threatening situations going on all at one time, or B, every day of the week there's a different thing going on, just threatening to destroy the planet, and it would just
Yeah.
be old hat, and no one would care anymore.
It
Yeah,
was
'cause
Monster Mash.
Because if there's 100 different once a year, if there's 100 different things that happen once every 100 years, and they're all 1 year apart, then every year you're dealing with the new end of the world situation.
Yeah.
It keep the plucky adventurer market going pretty well at the very least. Although that in that case, you know, the chances of my house being raided by RPG heroes taking all of my stuff, and then I don't want to have to say the same sentence over and over again for the rest of my life, man. Oh,
This is
well,
the
now-
part where I change the music again because I can't stand the vocals.
Well, that was a bad idea.
But I probably shouldn't have because I'm just going to start playing the arcade cabinet anyway.
What's with that arm movement that he was doing right before he was playing Arsenio Hall, the video game?
Let me at him. Let me at him.
That was basically he was going, alright, here we go, I'm gonna own this game. No, I'm gonna go out after I leave the bar and I'm gonna buy the console version, so I'm literally going to own this game.
Do they have an arcade cabinet? I think they should make.
Arcade,
well, not a whole.
arcades
like-
in Japan are a big thing.
Well, I mean, they
still.
should make an arcade cabinet of this Rapunzel game. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that.
I
at
wouldn't
some
be
point.
surprised if they did it in Japan and we just haven't heard about it, but yeah. Some fan might have taken an arcade cabinet and painted the designs on it for all we know. But anyway, yeah, what this basically is I think 64 stages that are basically mini dream stages. They're short, sweet, to the point, and some of them get balls hard. During your first new game at Catherine, you get 3 credits per night. During all your other playthroughs, you get infinite credits, though. So there's 64 stages, and then during the last run of stages, there are collectible items that you need to pick up along the way. If you beat the game and get all those collectibles, you unlock the reverse side of this game, which is 64 other stages that are even harder. And you need to get collectibles along the way to advance through all 64 of those.
So the game is designed to be ball-bustingly hard to eat away at your imaginary quarters.
Yeah, somewhat. The early 10 or 15 stages are actually really easy, like this one, and I'm not going to show off all 64, gods no. But yeah, it's an arcade game inside an already
they
very
fucking-
arcadey game.
Hump, 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 hump.
They, you know what?
Okay, stage 2.
I think that's what's meant to be implied. Then again, what do you suppose the prince did with her every time he climbed the tower in the actual story?
Well, I don't know. It's just like I'm used to like getting a peck on the cheek for this sort of princess raising stuff, you know.
Kind of
Kinky
kinky sex game is this?
All those is like. Anyway, I gave up. At which point,
cardiac arrest, son of a bitch.
yeah, the give up option is a kill switch for your character.
I'll be taking
The
your
Wicked
money
Witch
now.
has an afro. The Wicked Witch has an afro. I like that. It's just like I find that amusing for some reason. Oh, and every load screen, like when you start the game or leave the thing, has this philosophical quote and stuff. They must have looked up a lot of philosophical quotes during this game because the boss at the bar is constantly quoting them whenever he gives advice.
Let's what happens next. Ted Weason.
Now, another thing you want to do every night without fail, no matter what else you do, always drink at least 2 full glasses of some kind of booze.
Does it matter?
Well,
What
you see, if you want trophy completion, you have to drink 1 glass of each of the 4 kinds every night. But it doesn't matter what kind for the purposes of this, because there's little bottle icons at the side. When they fill up, you're at maximum drunkenness, which means 2 things. It means you're stumbling around every time you try to walk around the bar, and it means you move a lot faster during the dreams.
So this game promotes alcoholism.
Yes, it does.
In order to
Yay?
proceed, you have to get wasted.
Now, the achievements are actually for the alcohol trivias. The first time you drink a specific variety of alcohol every night, you'll get a piece of trivia about that alcohol. I am going to get 2 of those trivias every night because I drink 2 different kinds and I stick with that one kind with those 2 kinds for the entire game. But if
Is
you
there
want,
a penalty for drinking too much?
no, there's not.
Oh.
At least, if there is, I've never, run into it. There's no point in drinking more than 1 glass of each kind a time. Like, every time you take a sip, Vincent will think something, but he cycles through the thoughts over and over until you stop.
I forgot what I was doing.
Alcohol will fix that.
And this is where the narrator breaks the fourth wall to teach you about rum and cola. It's actually pretty interesting stuff if you look at all the trivia. It's another little flavor thing to do on your first playthrough. But during your second playthrough and everything else, you're basically just going to be drinking, skipping all the dialogue, drinking, skipping all the dialogue. It gets kind of tedious.
This game's teaching me all about this drink. It really does want me to drink. So, just for a bit of, like, commentary out of the video game in itself, like, do you guys drink socially?
No, I don't drink at all.
I'm not 21, so no.
Oh, Ted, you have a reason, but...
Well, that doesn't stop anyone, Ted.
No, admittedly, you're right.
I like to make smart life decisions, so...
Well, so do I. That's why I don't drink. I just gorge myself on soda.
Yeah. I mix every once in a while, but only for, like holiday parties and maybe New Year's.
Yeah, well, I think alcohol tastes like piss. Not that I would know what piss tastes
Are
like.
you sure it
It's
wasn't
an
actually piss?
It's like, you know, I had a drop of beer that my dad gave me when I was a lot younger, and it turned me off to the taste, which was the intention.
Well, no, your
I'm
taste
sure.
buds are probably very young at that point. I used to think that too, because actually the very first sip of beer I ever had was when I was 7 years old. Those were my grandma.
Well, you know, out of curiosity, I had a sip of, like, a little tiny sip of wine, like, last month or a month or two ago. I took a sip. Nope, still tasted really bad.
And I woke up.
Well, I'm just not a fan of grape shit in general, so I don't think I'd like wine.
I couldn't taste any grape in that stuff.
No, usually when it comes to like fruit wines or anything like that, it's a name most of the time. But that's why I mix though, you know, because I can't. Like, you give me vodka raw, I'm not gonna drink that.
Yeah.
Mix it with Coke or give me a fruit drink. To go with it.
Like the more dedicated alcohol drinks are really an acquired taste, I hear.
Yeah.
Like really, really acquired taste.
I would just recommend you mix it and stick with that one drink. For the love of God, people, do not mix your drinks. You are going to get hammered fast. Look at our drunk Let's Play of Mario Party.
Is she always there every night this late?
No. She shows up like maybe on one other night, I think. But basically, whenever you talk to her when she shows up in the bar, it prompts Vincent to get up and make up an excuse that he has to leave.
Ow.
So what's the usual excuse?
I have something to do. It's very transparent.
So there's really no reason to talk to her at all?
Nope.
All right, then.